Happening today, Lansing Community College is hosting a grand opening ceremony for its Change Makers Center. The center features 6 interactive exhibits that showcase the history of the Greater Lansing area and those who have contributed to it. Some of the people who have been inducted into the center's first inaugural class include Magic Johnson, Senator Sarah Anthony, and civil rights activist Malcolm X. Today's ceremony is being held at LCC's downtown campus at 5 o'clock. For more information on this story, you can go to our website, WILX.com.